a tale of two very different duchesses. Queen Catherine emerges during a powerful speech as Meghan Markle hits a shocking new low by using her children to hawk her dodgy honey. So yes, this is the Thanksgiving video from Meghan, as fake as it comes, of course, filmed months and months ago. But I think the real downfall here for the Sussexes is the fact that now in her promotional material, she is directly invoking and using the name of her two children. By contrast, Catherine revealed the type of monarch she intends to be during this speech in the UK yesterday.
Love is the first and most essential bond. Imagine a world where each of these environments were built on valuing time and tenderness just as much as productivity and success.
So we're going to get a very unique take on these two very different women from royal YouTube sensation P. Diner in just one moment. But first, I've got to take you through this shock new low from Ms. Markle. As Tom Sykes reports in The Royalist, Meghan puts Archie and Lily in her Thanksgiving mail shot. The argument that the no pictures rule is to protect her kids' privacy looks very strained in the face of a new as ever campaign which actively seeks to sell Archie and Lily Bit's lifestyle. Now, I would say it doesn't just look strained. Actually, I would say it's been blown up into smithereens. Prince Harry looks like a goddamn fool because his wife is now using his two precious children on social media to hawk shitty sage honey. Here's the reporting from Mr. Sykes. Meghan just put her kids slap bang into her Thanksgiving marketing campaign. What I imagine marketing experts of the future will make of this email when it is included in a compilation of a definitive history on how to run your personality-driven business into the ground is that it's deeply hypocritical to try and generate affection and fondness for your children when you have obsessively prevented their images from being published. Also, I would suggest that it's now fairly clear that the children and the husband, far from being kept at arm's length from the dirty business of commercial necessity, will absolutely be roped in whenever they are required. The Queen's generous farewell to them from royal life. It is my whole family's hope that today's agreement allows them to start building a happy and peaceful new life. Looks hopelessly naive now. Now, I have to say, I was the one saying this at the time. Tom Sykes goes on to say, I hope Meghan sought her kids' permission to include them in her little Thanksgiving email blast before she invaded their privacy in this way. Reading these emails from As Ever, it's hard not to think of how badly Harry and Meghan have played their hand. In the space of 6 years, they have gone from being the most exciting new members of the royal family to hawking honey that they are kind of loosely but non-actionably hinting as from their garden on Instagram. You have to wonder if they had known then that this was what it would all be for. Might they have done things differently? Well, certainly Harry would have, but I've got to take you through this email personally written by that weirdo, Meghan Markle. She's not right in the head because she refers to herself in two different ways in the third person here. The headline, by the way, is why she thinks she's so clever. Oh, yes, things do get better with Sage, unlike you, Meghan. And she writes, and remember, this is Meghan writing this, which is why it's so creepy and so weird. When it comes to our founders' favourites, the delicate herbaceous flavour of sage ranks high on the list. Why, you ask? I didn't, Meghan. Well, those photos you've seen this year on our Instagram of Meghan walking through. So, okay, now she's referring to herself in the third person, not as the founder, but by her real name. Walking through what seems like lavender with its gorgeous purple hue actually share the beauty of flowering sage. Fun fact, the varietal is called Santa Barbara. Those strolls with Archie and Lily running in tow, her husband checking on the bees, Poola chasing the ball with Mia trying to keep up. Those were the sun-drenched moments that made an everyday walk something a bit more magical. So magical, in fact, Meghan, that you're now using it to sell your shitty honey. And that sage, that purple, that scent around the garden was always there in the background, Meghan started drying all the different varieties of sage she was growing, bundling it as gifts, cooking with it, infusing it into oils, and indulging the sage-infused honey her bees were busy harvesting. Just imagine, by the way, in comes the envelope. You've got Meghan's sage. No, thank you. And she goes on. And so begins our Montecito Thanksgiving love story. When dreaming up the holiday collection months ago, Meghan imagined what it would taste like to have a sage honey drizzled on her Thanksgiving turkey. And ta-da! Here we are, a stunning sage honey, aromatic and earthy, Epicurean in its depth of flavour and elegant simplicity, inspired by the treat she enjoys at her home with her family. Our sage honey is now available for your holiday table, and there is the hard sell. P. Dinah, Prince Harry is now allowing his wife to use...
What happens next is honestly wild, because the moment Meghan brings her kids into her marketing push, the whole situation goes from questionable to downright unbelievable. And here's the thing, even people who normally defend her can't defend this. Because what we're watching isn't a brand launch. It's not a lifestyle moment. It's a full-blown desperation signal, broadcast straight from Montecito. And the more you look at it, the more obvious it becomes, this isn't about honey. This isn't about sage. This isn't even about Thanksgiving. It's about trying to convince the world that the Sussex brand is still alive, when almost every sign says it's running on fumes. You can see it in the tone, right? The flowery descriptions, the storytelling about walks in the garden, the soft lighting, the imagery of family moments that conveniently appear whenever a product needs to be sold. It's all perfectly curated, and perfectly hollow. Because if everything is so magical, so meaningful, so sun-drenched, then why do the reactions look like the complete opposite? Why does the whole thing feel staged? Why does it feel like the only person cheering for this brand is Meghan herself? And then there's Harry. Look at his face lately. He's not aligned, he's not excited, he's not even pretending anymore. He looks tired, like a man who knows he's losing control of the narrative, but doesn't know how to get it back. This is the same Harry who once talked about protecting his kids from the spotlight. The same Harry who said he'd never use his children for publicity. And now here we are, watching their names rolled out like accessories in a commercial email. Not photos. Not real moments. Just placements. Mentions. Product supporting details. Exactly the thing he said he'd never do. And the reaction online has been brutal. Not because people hate them, but because people can smell inconsistency a mile away. When you spend years talking about privacy, but suddenly your children's names appear every time your business needs attention, it raises eyebrows. Meanwhile, look across the ocean. Because while Meghan is trying to sell sage and honey, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, steps forward with something completely different. Something with weight. Something with meaning. Something that actually connects with people. Her speech wasn't flashy. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't wrapped in expensive branding or Hollywood storytelling. It was simple. It was human. It was real. She talked about love. She talked about childhood. She talked about creating a world where kids grow with stability, tenderness, and emotional support. And here's the thing, she didn't need to film a perfect garden walk to make the message land. She just spoke. Clearly. Calmly. With purpose. And that contrast hits harder than anything else. Because Catherine isn't selling something, she's standing for something. While Meghan uses parenting as marketing, Catherine uses her platform to talk about parenting as responsibility. And people notice that difference immediately. And whether someone likes Meghan or not, whether they're a royal supporter or not, the comparison is impossible to ignore. Because when you place these two moments side by side, one woman is pushing a product. The other is pushing a vision. One is trying to revive a fading brand. The other is stepping into her future role. One is selling honey. The other is delivering the foundation of what kind of queen she intends to be. And then, right as all this is unfolding, we get Harry's next big move, a paid appearance, marketed out like an inspirational event, but behind the scenes, struggling to even sell seats. Think about that for a moment. A man born a prince. A man who once drew crowds by simply walking into a room. Now having to sell tickets for relevance, and not even succeeding. People see the hollowness. They hear the speeches that never say anything new. They see the unsteady body language, the unfocused messaging, the forced enthusiasm. Because there's no mission left. No purpose. No direction. Just survival. And you can feel it in everything they're doing. The honey. The emails. The speeches. The Hollywood appearances. The desperate attempts to be seen, heard, and taken seriously. And all of this is happening while the royal family is shifting in the opposite direction, getting stronger, clearer, more unified. Catherine rising. William stepping forward. Charles stabilizing. The institution preparing for what comes next. And once again, the contrast is brutal. One side is building. The other is scrambling. One side is stepping into power. The other is slipping out of influence. One side is earning respect. The other is chasing attention. So as we move forward, what we're watching isn't just two different women making two different choices. This is a crossroads moment, a moment where the public decides who they trust, who they believe, who they resonate with, and who they see through. Because in the end, titles don't matter. Clips don't matter. Emails don't matter. Authenticity always wins.